Discovery, go at throttle up.
All day
apart. Yeah, fear is not for death. Yeah, shame so beaten head. Seems you've been running all the same to me. Seems you've been running, oh, nothing's really free. Same to me. Seems you've been running, nothing's really free. Same to me. Rise out of the shadows.
Good morning, everybody. We do not lie in the darkness waiting for death here, despite that awesome song. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ad time. Ants in the pants. Ants in the pants. Ad time. All right, all right, all right. You got it, you got it, you got it, you got it. Dude, we got a launch today. Starlink. Good morning, I'm Mr. Strimmerman. EJ early? Weird. It's only 20 minutes early. Whatever. Got to stay at 420,000 channel points. Ah, yes. That's the meme number. Yeah, that's the meme number. Word. Dude, yeah, we gotta do a space news today. There's an interesting article that Eric Berger released today, and I'm interested to kind of go and look at it. It's this guy right here. Interesting. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. We filled up the space news basket. The space news inbox is full. We gotta fill it up. That one's very interesting. You know, 415. Like, here's the thing. I want to be clear. Like, I haven't liked the stuff that Eric has said in the past, right? But that doesn't mean that we can't get some good articles from time to time, right? That article's actually super interesting. Yeah, no, the hydrogen bucket thing took the cake for me. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? What? Okay, but hey, it's all right. But I'll admit he hasn't been too bad lately. Some of the stuff he said I've actually been agreeing with, which is, I agree with him about Ariane 6, which is kind of funny. Yeah, being pro Starship. Well, okay, the way the article is phrased, right, makes it seem like a knock at the FAA, right? But the interesting thing about that article is saying that, you know, it's not the FAA that's holding up, like, it isn't some crazy regulatory, like, conspiracy to hold up SpaceX. SpaceX launches so freaking much, the FAA can't keep up. Which is very interesting. That's... Huh. This is where he said the world is ending, so just embrace it. Hey, Dead Crew, it ain't boring. It ain't boring. At least it ain't boring. Believe me, that's some extremely dark humor. I prefer it to be boring. You know, may you live in interesting times. Like, times are interesting. That's for sure. Yeah, it's very interesting. 3 paragraphs in. Yeah, exactly. Check it out. Yeah. The FAA can't keep up with SpaceX, which is very interesting. I hadn't really considered that. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. I would prefer calm, yet interesting. Yeah. I guess I hadn't really considered that point, and that's why, like, believe me, it's kind of gritting my teeth at, like, sharing an Ars article, but being impartial is important, you know, just because somebody that said, you know, people that have said stuff that I haven't liked in the past doesn't mean, you know, that they can't say anything right permanently, right? Like, that's weird, dude. That's how children think. Like, that's not that's not what I do here. It's just something I hadn't really considered, you know? I just finished watching Harley and Davidson's, and now I know why Motordrome was a wicked race. Cool. Yeah. They can't keep up. So when do SpaceX get their own division of the FAA? I don't know. I mean, that explains why the Fish and Wildlife Service had to go in there, right? Because it's probably because the FAA delegated that work, which is not what they're supposed to do per the regulatory framework, which is very interesting to me. Well, not regulatory framework. I guess well, yeah, it is. It's under space. That is under SPD 3, Space Policy Directive 3, which is a piece of, I think it's an executive order from 2018, but I digress. Is this why the Fish and Wildlife Service? It could be erudite. We don't know for sure. I'd have to go look at the article. It's very interesting, though. Did a launch happen or something? You're early. Well, I needed to get on early because we got to do a space news, but we gotta do work on. We gotta really figure out what we're gonna do with SERV, because we ran into a pretty interesting problem in testing last night. We need some creative freaking solutions. So that's why I just chose to get going today. The other thing is that I'm kind of on call for NSF in case there's any Starship testing this week. I'm on call in the morning, so the reason why I kind of like ran out of steam and like forgot how to do freaking fairings last night. I forgot how to do dragless fairings, and I'm like, that really bugged me, is because I've been getting up at like 7, 8 o'clock and just being kind of on call, just waiting here, getting stuff ready, like moving stuff around in the garage and, you know, fixing things, etc., etc. I hooked up the heater in the 59. The Freb has the heater working now. I don't know if you guys remember, I water tested the heater on stream to make sure that it was you know, watertight. And we restored the entire heater box. That's all hooked up and it all works, which is really cool. The heater is nice, man. Really, really warm. So that's cool. Could always do morning garage streams. Well, yeah, but I don't want to be like halfway through a project drummer and then have to stop the stream and then have dirty hands and come and do an NSF cast. Like, that is something that I'm like, it's a weird problem to have. Like, you go and work on the cars, your hands are going to get super dirty, and I don't want my keyboard and mouse in my office getting super screwed up, right? Like, I don't want grease and oil and gunk on my keyboard. 59 what? Here. That. 59 F100, man. I got the heater core all hooked up today. That's the garage, dude. I can stream from in there, oh no. Yeah. Hey, Doom. What's going on? Yeah, that was a live shot. I have cameras hooked up in there. Watch your hands with lava soap. I don't have any water out here, Swishchin. That's the problem. The only water I have out here is drinking water for water and coffee. So I can't, like, I have to go, if I do an auto stream in the morning, right, I won't mind doing it. I don't, first of all, like, and I want to get back into doing it. We got to figure out how to go wire up trailer brakes for the F250 for tough, so we can tow stuff with it. I would like to tow stuff with it and get a trailer for towing cars around. What's the towing capacity on the F100? I'm not 100% sure. Well, here's the thing. £3,600. So you don't type 59 F100 towing capacity because the motor in the transmission is not from a 59, it's from a 79. So I have to type in 79 F100 towing capacity. It's 1,800 kilos. So that's 3,600 pounds and change. Would setting up a rainwater collector for basic hand washing purposes be doable? Just an idea. For non-potable water, Doom, yeah, sure. I would like to do projects like that. In fact, I just installed a gutter on this metal roof on the lean-to on the back because my mower storage was getting, water was getting in there. I built doors out of 2x4s and plywood, and there's like, so the back part of my garage is like a lean-to, so it's like just basically a steel roof, right? And then some basic framing around, right? It was a lean-to that was converted to an interior space. And it looks like the guy that had the house before me, or the garage before me, the guy that had this property before me, just used leftover parts from building the main garage to build this, which is fine. That's cool. So it's like a lean-to. There's like pressure treated posts and stuff. It's not anything is to code or anything, but it doesn't have to be. It's just a lean-to. It's not that big of a deal. But my mower storage had an open door. There's like another garage door on the back of my garage, maybe like a tiny one. and it's not any conventional garage door size. So I tried to price getting a garage door for my mower storage so I could open and close it, and the prices were way too high that were quoted, and I can't make my own garage door, so I just made some plywood barn doors that open up on the back. Now the thing is, there's no gutter on the back of the lean-to because it's a freaking lean-to, and all the water from all the rain that I've gotten, right? And you, Doom, you know, you got the rain too. It started seeping into the plywood because it just falls over the roof and onto the door. So I put a gutter back there, and it does collect. The gutter works. I just checked. That's what I've been doing over the weekend. I made a whole project building doors back there with 2x4s and stuff. Yeah, Hellfish, I'd have to look into it, right? Shaw, I'm eyeing a 2014 F-150 so I can tow my car to track days instead of driving the sports car 4 hours, but my parents would rather I just move out, so bleh. Yeah. Yeah, Shaw, you're in that weird spot where you have cars, but you don't have any place to put them. I was in that spot for a long time. Yeah, dude, it rained last night, so I went back out there and looked, and yeah, the wood's all dry, so that's good. I gotta sand it and paint it, or stain the door or something, or put some house paint on it, because yeah, it needs to be sealed up. Oh, you go to NJMP. Shaw, you ever been down to Englishtown? It's Englishtown, right? That's where like all the drifting is. Yeah. My secondary garage is the same, and while re-roofing it, we found out just how weakly it was connected to the main garage. Middle of its roof dropped a good foot. Whoa, yeah. Yeah. Cool. Right on, man. Right on. Yeah, Naz, this lean-to is all brand new, and it's all on new concrete and stuff, so the ground behind it is moving a little bit, but yeah, it's settling just a smidge, but it hasn't moved in a couple of months. Didn't move throughout the summer, so anyway. But yeah, I mean, maybe we'll get water collectors and stuff. I did a real redneck thing last year at this time and put a tarp inside of the 97's pickup bed. I put a big tarp in there, and then Hurricane Ian came through, and it rained, and it filled up the bed with water, so the 97 was like, the 97 has F350 suspension in the back and 250 in the front, so it's got a nasty rake to it. It's cool. It's not the opposite of that, right? And it was level with all that water in the back, and I just took all the extra water bottles that I had and just filled it up. I still have some of that water. I used some of it the other day. Ian the Hurricane, indeed. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would be open to it, but yeah, what I really would be open to is just running a damn water line and a gas line out here. But yeah, no water out here, so it kind of makes it difficult to like do a garage stream and then immediately come right back in here, even though I have basically seamless transition back and forth, which, you know, it is what it is. Bury a hose. Drummer, to be honest, there is already a buried hose that goes up to the front of the garage, but you can't use that in the winter. It's not to code. It has to be below the frost level, or else you're just going to blow a pipe in the wintertime. Can't do that. I already have that. But anyway. Yeah. Interesting article about how SpaceX they don't have a yeah, okay, hold on. Anyway. So yeah, interesting thing about Starship and whatnot. Instead of burying the pipe, put more dirt on top. There's a problem with that, though, Alex. I don't know how it is where you are, but dirt costs money. Not particularly the dirt itself. That part's cheap. It's getting a big freaking truck to grade and do stuff. Like, that costs a lot of money to get the trucks, to get a truck out here. And yeah. Do you know what the frost code is? What's the frost def? I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. But yeah. What's your frost line at? I don't remember, dude. It's maybe I could do it myself. I mean, once again, I know plenty of buddies around here that'll help me out with it. It's just, yeah, getting around to it. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I would like to do more garage streams to get back to doing that stuff. We have the Coronet needs help. It needs help bad. I gotta get it up here. We gotta do that. That thing needs so much work. Yeah. Push that thing inside already. The garage is still full of crap. My problem is that my garage is full of Camaro parts for another project. So, yeah. Civil Works is some of the most expensive things you can do. Dude, that's what, like... Okay, talking about cities real quick while I load up KSP. That's what... I do not agree with the developers, the Cities 2 developers, choice to make moving dirt free. That really... That's Bush League, dude. I don't like that at all. Time to extend the garage. Yeah, I don't like that at all. I think dirt should be more expensive than it was in cities, and I think it should take time, and I think you should have to build a road to where you want to move the dirt to. But that's just me. Oh, I gotta go looking through that. Yeah. Yeah, I have 12 turntables. Yeah, I don't think that's realistic at all. Have you ever played Workers and Resources? Dude, I played Workers and Resources as a joke one time, Brahms, for like an April Fool's joke, because like I like playing cities and I teach people how cities work, how cities work, and I teach people about like, you know, basic capitalism and stuff like that. So I played Workers and Resources as a joke one time on stream, and it's actually a really good friggin' game. I didn't play it again because I was worried. I was worried at the time that it's like it would be better than Cities, man. And it's a pretty damn good game. That game is really hard to play. I like it. It's tough. Yeah, Drummer bought it as a joke, and I played it on April Fools, and like I was worried that it would interfere too much with Cities content at the time. But I try not to play two games that are really similar at any one point. Just because I'm not trying to bore you with the nerd stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, Workers and Resources is a great game. I know it's good. Jimmy, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, Cities 2 next week, Junie. Yep. This is a game for everyone, not just for civil engineering nerds. Yeah. Hellfish, I'll be honest, I hate it when people say that. I hate it when people say that stuff. Oh, well, this game isn't for you then. It's like... And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not... I get it, there are games that are straightforward, but Cities is supposed to be a city simulator. You know? Why are we adding arcade-style mechanics to a city simulator? That's my thing, like... You know, I understand that games are for different demographics, etc., but sometimes, like... Sometimes, dude, like, people use that as an excuse just to make up for the fact that the game is lacking features, and that's what is like, okay. That's not what you said at all. This is a game for everyone, not just civil engineering nerds. Easy solution, make it as an option and keep everybody happy. Yeah, agreed, S. I think if you implement like modular difficulty settings from the start, like what KSP has, everything becomes a little bit easier. And then on top of that, give modders, you know, the opportunity to move those difficulty sliders on top of that. I think that's a much better way to do it. But what do I know? So, Elfish, if that's not what you said, like, what did you mean? What do you mean by that? I don't understand. You want the game to be dumbed down? I'm like, I'm not following. Kind of worried City Steel will pull a KSP too. Might let it bake a bit before picking it up. You develop your body. You practice yoga with Olympic weight discs. It's good for the nervous system. I mean, this is a mechanical system, Jimmy, just like anything else. It's just biologically mechanical. And just like a car or any other mechanical system, if you don't take care of it, it'll start breaking on you. And they don't make some of the parts for this thing. Just saying. You said that I implied that it isn't for you. How could that be taken any other way, dude? That's why could you tell me what you mean? What are you talking about? If you know, saying this game is for everybody, not just for civil engineering nerds, like, what did you mean? I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just wondering. I take things the wrong way on stream all the time, man. It happens every day. It's hard to read inflection from text. It's really difficult. Brahms, your son was born with one kidney. I tried calling the manufacturer and they already retooled the factory for something else. Stand behind your product, right, Brahms? Jeez. Yeah, all systems, that comes with the territory. I'm not complaining. It's just sometimes I miss it. Sometimes I miss the mark. It happens, dude. Is there a launch today? Zymus? Yeah, we got a Starlink. Starlink 623. That's happening at 5 o'clock, so 5 hours from now. 5:20 is the liftoff time. So if you check back in 5 hours, we will have some launching. Midnight. Yeah, not ideal for the Europeans. Not ideal for the Euros. Did you forget space news? Why would I forget space news? We're gonna start space news right before the rocket launch, dude. Yeah, there's enough space news in the inbox to warrant talking about something. Especially, actually, there's an Ars article. Believe it or not, yes, the world's ending. I actually want to share an Ars article, and I want to look into it because it's a very interesting thing going on there, and I want to read more into it before we jump in there. We did kind of make a huge left turn. That's this stream in a nutshell. Someone call an ambulance. EJ's extremely sick. Thomas, it's really a point that I hadn't really considered, to be honest with you. I hadn't considered that the FAA, SpaceX just launches way too freaking much, which I completely agree with, and they should launch more. It's funny that the FAA can't keep up. I think that's hilarious. That's really funny to me, man. Like, they don't have the resources to be able to keep up with SpaceX's crazy launch cadence, which, once again, that's really funny. All right. So, let's get the music going. And let's get rolling. So, we're messing with our SERV Stoke Aerospace project, which is pretty cool, but FAA needs to scale up their facilities. They need to do a lot of things. All right. SpaceX should build another FAA. Ballistic stability, COM offset configuration, landing legs. So, so this is our SSTO, our capsule-shaped SSTO that we're working on here. Can the FAA actually not keep up, or is that just what the article thinks? That's what I'm interested in wondering. It's just, I'll admit, the point kind of caught me a little bit. I'm like, I hadn't really considered that, so now I'm kind of curious to see, which might be the whole point of the article, to bait you into talking about it, which is probably what's going on, knowing that guy, but we'll see. Yeah, Tigris, I can't help but think about that. That's kind of funny. Anyway. Let's turn the page a little bit. So, we have a little bit of a problem with this thing. And I'm not 100% sure how we're going to fix this. So, we had some problems with this being stable at high speeds. Making the fairing out of a, what's it called? Or making the heat shield out of a fairing. Sorry, I'm already losing my train of thought. That's not good. Not good. So we made a heat shield out of a fairing, and that's proving to be a little bit of a challenge aerodynamically. That scramjet vid is insane. You like that, huh? Yeah, it's freaking cool. Chapter 3, Christoke spacecraft. Yeah. Basically, the thing... Because this thing is basically acting like a gigantic flat disc in the front of the craft, it's not... What's the way to say this? The capsule likes to fly this part first, which is not what I want. That's not what I want at all. It doesn't fly very well. We need to figure out a better way to do this. Replace it with panels. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping we don't have to do that, because that would probably double the part count at the very least, sweet. That was my original plan, believe it or not, to make a panel heat shield. The reason why I wanted to do that is to keep the mass low. Keep the center of mass really, really low. So the thing about this is that, you know, we drain the fuel tanks, right? You got the fuel tanks, drain all the fuel tanks, right? And then I have another set of fuel tanks way down the bottom by the heat shield. They're basically shoehorned into the back of this heat shield right here. See them? The thing about it is the center of mass doesn't stay low enough. So what I did was I aerodynamically occluded the heat shield by using some of the stuff that we learned how to do from chat on the Star Raker project. And what basically happened there is, well, the thing flies great, super efficient, super great on ascent, but during descent, the only things that are making drag, if I make this dragless, is the panels and the motors, which is not good, because that basically makes it work like a badminton shuttlecock, which is... It basically makes it fly like this, right? With this being the front, where it says gopher, that's the front of the SSTO. So like the heat shield is back here. That makes it fly completely wrong. And even keeping the center of mass low, even keeping the COM low still, there's still enough aerodynamic moment if I don't occlude the heat shield to get this thing to flip over. which really sucks. I'm not really 100% sure how to fix this. So the reason why this is a problem is because I need to be able to steer this and precisely land it back at KSC. I basically need to fly the capsule like a shuttle. If I wanted history, I would have clicked on the damn history tab. Holy crap. So, a capsule, when it comes down, right? When a capsule comes down, it has an offset center of... Can't win today. It has an offset center of mass. That picture is kind of what I'm trying to show you, but this site doesn't want to cite today. It cited yesterday. But see how the center of gravity is offset? It's offset there. And the center of gravity being offset to one side allows basically the capsule to fly kind of crooked, I guess. So see that? It's flying kind of crooked through re-entry. And that allows you to change the angle of attack on the heat shield. So you can use it to skip off the atmosphere. And you can also use it for cross range. This is how capsules do precise landings, for instance. So here, let's see. Here, I'll show you. Here, check it out. So, this is from the EFT-1 mission in 2014. This was Orion's first heat shield test. Hey, Super. Mason, what's going on? So, if you look at how the camera is oriented, and this is a very wide-angle lens, which is why this is it looks concave there. But if you see how the plasma is propagating, okay, so this is looking, the heat shield is this way, and this camera is looking backwards, right? See how the plasma is propagating? It's asymmetrically propagating, which means the heat shield relative to oncoming flow is tilted, either this way or this way. But if you notice, the capsule will rotate. It'll flip over. Unless they cut this footage. Oh, there it goes. Watch. Plasma's cool, man. Would there be enough fuel to move from to off-center the tanks? Well, most of the fuel is going to be gone, 54. We only have enough fuel to really... I only want to have enough fuel to land, but I also need to precisely... We need to precisely bring this thing down. See, it's rotating. It's modulating the angle of attack on the heat shield, which is something that the Apollo missions did. That's how they got it to skip off the atmosphere from the moon. They basically placed the capsule in a way that it basically act like a skipping... Like if you I don't know if you guys live near bodies of water. You take a stone, you throw it, and you spin it, and it skips off the water. Same idea. Only with fire instead of water. It's not cool. It's very hot. Yeah. That's pretty toasty, right? So I got to figure out a way to do this in Kerbal. And see, if anything, it's going to be more difficult in KSP because KSP's soupy atmosphere. It's going to be difficult. I've never used capsules in KSP and have them do propulsive landings. I tried it once in like 2016 and killed Jeb. Luckily that save had reverts allowed. So, because that was when Dragon was trying to do propulsive landings and stuff, right? So I looked into how interesting it would be to actually propulsively land a capsule. It's really difficult, and most likely you're going to kill a Kerbal if you try it, which is probably why NASA said, nah, we're not doing that. But anyway, I've never tried to make something re-enter and not land on the runway like the shuttle. I've never had a VTOL landing vehicle. I've never done anything like that that's capsule shaped. So we're into kind of uncharted territory for me. I'm not exactly sure how we should go about doing this. We're trying to, Vulcan. We're trying to. I made that fairing dragless last night, and thank you for helping me. But that honestly screwed me all up because the heat shield not being occluded from aero basically ruins your cross-range capability with the capsule. You can kind of just spin it around like this, and it'll just keep going on its ballistic trajectory. You could spin it around like a top going through re-entry. So I need the heat shield to have aerodynamics. But I also need the aeroshell to have aerodynamics. But the problem here is I need the aeroshell to create drag. And I need the heat shield to create drag. But I need everything in between those to not make drag. Which is interesting. The reason why this is such a big problem here is because if you look where my center of mass is, and you look where the base plate of the aeroshell, that the darker part, the darker colored fairing plate right there, it's at the back of the vehicle. The problem is that Kerbal generates the aerodynamics from this based off of the origin point. So the arrow for the aeroshell, for the shell part of the vehicle, not the heat shield. So the black and white fairing, not the metallic fairing, right? All the aero that would be used for stabilization is being applied over here. And that's a problem. That's not good, right? Because the arrow from this should be applied up here somewhere. Because the aeroshell is up here primarily. Now, that's the biggest reason why I want this thing to... Why this thing doesn't fly very well is because all the aerodynamics from the craft is being applied to the vehicle over here. And that basically makes it want to fly. It basically puts the center of pressure behind the center of mass and makes this part of the vehicle want to fly first. Now, I got a little bit of a problem here. How the frick am I going to get this thing to stabilize? How am I going to do it? I can't, the obvious thing is just, reverse the fairing and put the fairing plate up here for the aeroshell. Well, then it covers my payload bay. The payload bay on this vehicle is internal. In the past, with capsule designs, I've actually, if I have a capsule that has a fairing attached to it, I actually mount the fairing up front and make it backwards. So the fairing plate is up here, so during re-entry, it applies the aerodynamics correctly. Would more fuel mass at the bottom fix it? Simulated with offset reaction wheels, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. So I got a little bit of a problem. We need to find a way to get the aeroshell to... We need to find a way to get the aeroshell to produce aerodynamics up at the top. And I'm not 100% sure how we're going to do that. Seems like one of those circumstances where clipping tanks is agreeable. Yeah, I do have some slightly clipped tanks here. The tanks are only overlapped with what I think is the volume of space that's not being used because I can only use circular tanks and not toroidal tanks in this particular design. Like heavily clipped? Oh. Because you don't have the mass of an actual heat shield there. Yeah. I don't... Mason, that's certainly an option, but I'm not necessarily sure that that's going to be good because a bunch of clipped fuel tanks, especially if I want to reuse this thing, is going to get to be a pain in the butt real quick. It'll be like fueling the SSTO all over again. It'll really suck. So we gotta really think about this here. No 5-meter heat shield, or where to make that deployable? What do you mean? I have 5... Oh no, heat shields only go up to that. The only other thing that we have is the inflatable, which is a 10-meter. I was maybe thinking about using that for the bigger one, but there's a 375, 2518, 625. That's the biggest heat shield that we have. What's the mass of that thing? 2.8 tons. Fine, I'm here. Good. Give me 1 second, dude. Clip multiple heat shields. Yeah, that could work. The big one isn't that much larger than what the scale is already to it. Yeah, I suppose, lulz, but I'm not even sure that a heat shield down there is going to do exactly what I want. What I'm trying to think of is hierarchically how we could do this and get this thing to fly correctly. It would take some aero simulation, but... Sorry, dude. I'm talking. I've been trying to answer messages during the day so I can actually get back to people at a reasonable time about other things. So what did 95 say about the fairings? Vulcan actually, Vulcan in chat showed me, and I cursed out 95 and called him a weakling for not explaining it to me right away as a joke. And he said I was working. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about your life. And yeah. It was a fun conversation. That's actually a friendly conversation between us, so yeah. It's good. 95 deserved it. So many people don't even play KSP 2. Nah, Fix, give it some time, dude. Give it some time. I'm sure KSP 2 will blossom beautifully in good time. It took KSP 1 a good while to get to that point, dude. Just give it some time. The right people are working on it, dude. Did Twitch die? I don't know. Did it? So, what I'm thinking is... No? We good? Can we talk about the articles on the FAA and Starship launch license? Yeah, right before the Starlink launch, Liam, we'll do a space news. Yep. Yeah, I was sleeping and I still got back to you and tried. Yeah, I know, Tessa, right? Dude, what a jerk. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I know it was a little late over there. Thanks for getting up, dude. I appreciate it. When's the launch? PD, you talking about when I'm gonna get the gumdrop going, or when's the Starlink launch? Because the Starlink launch is about 5 hours away from now. Starlink is at 7:52 now. More time for space news. I don't know, part of me thinks they'll pull the plug on KSP2. They won't pull the plug on KSP2, dude. They won't do that. They won't, guys. Like, they won't. Trust me on this one. Part of me thinks the parent company will. Private division? No. No. I don't see that happening. I don't think Take-Two will either. Private Division was set up explicitly to make AA games, Indian AA games. They get it. I know. I talk to them. They get. I do what most people that go and say things about KSP2 don't do. I actually go and talk to the people that are working on this project. Just saying. Just saying. I'd eaten 4 chicken Kieves, 3 packets of chicken noodles, and 4 slices of buttered bread. It wasn't a nice food coma. Dude, I got a food coma yesterday, too. I scarfed some beef and broccoli, like, in the middle of the stream. And I ate it way too fast. What if you use the panel? If you use the panels, do you have more strategicality? Yeah. Yeah, see... Yeah, we do. So what I'm thinking about is where maybe the root part. Maybe we got a problem with setting certain things to a root part here. I mean, a lot of folks yesterday, Hellfish, were saying like, you know, like place wings. Put wings up here to get better arrow simulation. Like place one of these like around L4s. I mean, that would really screw me up on the way up, though. That's the problem here. I'm not necessarily... Yeah, we could go into Theix's hierarchy connector and mess with it. But yeah, we gotta... There's... Like, okay, so see, there's the engine plate. Let's get rid of the plate. Right? And then I think I have a battery in there, too. Alright, get rid of the test payload for now. How can we get this thing? Deployable wings. Pop, I would really like to do this with it. I want to try to fly and propulsively land you know, using capsule what's the right way to say it? Using a capsule style re-entry. So like flipping it. But see, what I'm worried about, dude, is that can we even do that? Like, that's where I'm getting a little like, because I'm not sure Kerbal is gonna treat this, like Mason said in chat, I'm not sure Kerbal's gonna treat this like a heat shield. It's gonna treat it like a fairing, which... But see, like, I can't move the fairings anywhere else because we need room for the payload bay. That's the big problem here.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
I'm not putting canards on it, you jerk! If you really want to solve this conundrum, Canard tipped $50 to the stream. If you really want to solve this conundrum, you should use canards. No, get out of here. Thank you for the 50 though, but also get out of here. Whoa. And you ruled out a pedal pattern of multiple heat shields. What's that gonna do? Yeah, JSpeed, I ruled it out because what is it? What is that gonna do exactly? Honest question. Like, once again, not trying to be a jerk. What's that gonna solve? See, I'm wondering now, like, how this different stuff is all gonna fly here. What I would like to do... Let's move to R3, right? And get rid of all this. Get rid of that. Get rid of the motor mounts just for a little bit. The cow controller is still there, but we can... The Spike OC is still there, but we can dump that. Let's just focus on our basic arrow here. Like this. So... What I'd like to do is see what this thing is doing aerodynamically. So I'd like to launch this. But... Yeah, I'd like to launch it so I could see all this stuff and not have fuel tanks covering everything up. Maybe we could use flags there instead. Physicsless flags might be a better idea. Okay, that's something to think about. So, part of the problem that I'm having is that these are not occluded and they are generating a lot of drag. They're generating a lot of drag on this side of the vehicle. And that basically works like a giant ring stabilizer that's behind my center of mass. So that's bad. That's one of the problems that we're facing. The other problem is the engines are doing the same damn thing, which is not cool. Hey, Milo. So just a thought. Take the current design and add its stock heat shield overlaying the current setup and see if it reacts differently enough to verify. Well, crazy, that's my thing. I don't think it will. Maybe closing the fairing on the heat shield. But, so crazy, the reason why I've been, like, oh, I don't want to do this, right? I don't want to do any of the heat shield stuff down there is because the heat shields are eventually just going to ablate all off. And then, you know, if we reuse the capsule 4 or 5 times, what's the point? The whole point is to make a reusable heat shield. And a fairing makes a great heat shield. The problem is that fairings are also very, their shape is very sensitive to the aero. Remember, I want this vehicle, my stakeholder expectations for this vehicle are to be able to propulsively land it right by the launch pad, you know, have landing legs deploy, pick this thing up with a vehicle, bring it back over near the launch pad and have a crane put the thing back on the launch pad, put a new payload in and put a MERP on top, the manned upper stage reusable vehicle payload. So basically put something like Dream Chaser on the top of this thing and, you know, send it. That's the idea. So I have to take that into account, which is why I need a reusable solution. My original idea was making the bottom of this out of tessellated panels, like I did with the space shuttle. That would make it that would definitely put the mass down low because panels are heavy, but my ascent would be atrocious because we would make so much drag on this thing. It would be to the point that it would not, I don't think Kerbal would like it too much. About the engines, if you use an engine plate to occlude them, you can offset them away from the plate as far as you want and still have them occluded. That's a good idea, Jonas. I actually like that idea. Yeah. So engine plate occlusion for the aero spikes is that's not a bad call. Actually, that's a good idea. Hold on one second. So if we were going to do this, let's just do some testing. So I need a structural piece. Let's just put a big old panel in there. Like that. And then, right, we'll do our whole engine mount thing. Right, we need... a 3.7 engine plate. The shroud is enabled. Decoupler force percentage down. Take that. Do that. We gotta attach the nose cone like so, right? Put the panel on there, or put the heat shield on there. That's gonna make it dragless, obviously. But now what I want to do... is that and that. And I want to see if radial attachment to this will actually occlude this as well. So we're just going to plop this out here and see what happens. Dream Chaser with a big old tail. That's right. Yeah, Crazy Razor. I want full reintegration. I've done space programs in Kerbal in the past where you had to build the rocket every time. And I did have flyback stages that did work. Ooh, nice. Yeah, okay. The panels... the panels are not occluded. That's... the nose cone is not occluded. Interesting. Okay. So that doesn't include the panels, though. That absolutely will, right? Like that'll include those. I'm wondering how many inline panels it will include. So like if I node attach that, will it include all of those? We got to do this one more time. Is it going to include everything down the line? We'll see. Those are included. That's not. It's only something that's in direct node attachment. Okay. Yeah, it's direct attachment. I got it, Jonas. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, well that was a good learning exercise. So that for the engines would be nice. But I need 12 engines, and there's no combination here that's going to get you 12, I don't think. There's the 6x1. A second engine plate? That's what I was thinking, man. Maybe. I mean, Mason, that could... How heavy are these? What's the mass of the engine plates, dude? Because that could solve some... they're not very heavy. That could solve... that could bring more dry mass down, but then again, that's going to screw our delta V. That's going to screw our delta V formula pretty badly, dude. I'm thinking. Okay. Grid fins? Grid fins wouldn't really work on something this tiny. Now, once again, the problem here is that I need... We can do that for the engines, guys. I'm not too worried about that. The problem here is that I need my heat shield. We need to be able to steer with this sucker. We need to be offset. We need the offset center of mass, but I'm just... yeah, see, I'm not sure how I'm going to get this all to work correctly. I need... This is getting to be a little bit of a challenge because I can't really... All right, hold on. I got something. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was very easy to make, so I wouldn't worry about it. Guys, I kind of need to see how the arrow is working here. So I want all this to be like that for the most part. This is going to be a weird test. But I need to see how what Kerbal thinks is the back and like the front of this vehicle. I have an interesting idea. So I need something to be able to get access into the payload bay. That's a 2-meter payload bay, give or take. We do have, so I want something up at the top that I can tell apply arrow here, right? I need the aerodynamic properties of this applied here. We might be able to fool KSP a little bit here because KSP right now thinks that that's the front of the vehicle. KSP doesn't know the difference between this being in there, except, I mean, it might be occluded because it's in a fairing, right? But KSP doesn't understand that there's nothing up here. It doesn't get it unless we tell it to, right? So, I mean, eventually in the future we'll have a nose cone there and another docking port, etc., etc. But KSP, because it thinks the front of the vehicle is over here, and obviously it thinks the heat shield is the back of the vehicle, we might be able to get away with this by putting a part, like a collar, around this thing, right? But attaching it at the very back of the hierarchy to get the arrow information applied up there. That might work. So, take a 2.5 structural tube, like this. Tube. Take that, right? That will fit around the collar of the vehicle, right? And just like that nose cone that was sitting on the end of the engine plate, if I take this piece, right, and we gizmo that all the way up to the top, to the point where the rim is basically sticking out, like that, and we make a little adapter or something, I don't know, like whatever we can do to occlude the arrow or whatnot, or even close the arrow shell on that thing. That might work. We need to get it. We would need to get it to apply aerodynamic properties up at the top, so we can make a little payload attachment interfacing rim right here. And I need to see if that's gonna work. So what we'll do. This one's gonna be a strange test. This is where having a wind tunnel in KSP would be super useful. But we don't have that, so here's what we're doing. Watch this. Get rid of my rollers. This will be fine. The payload attachment interfacing rim. Pair. So how long until you do the heat shield using tessellation? Well, doing that is not necessarily going to solve our problems, Aqualux, because all that's going to do is make a lot of drag on the bottom of the vehicle. Remember, that's what I get with the fairing. It's about getting the aero information like we were talking about yesterday. It's about getting the aero information up at the top. So, send it. 3, 2, 1. Boosters and ignition. Alright. Freeze it, tank. Okay. Boink! That's pretty funny. So that thing is occluded. Damn. Alright. Yeah. Crap. But see, look at how much, see, I want this thing to generate a lot of lift, but I don't want this thing to. Because it looks like, no, any lift that's being generated by the heat shield is immediately being canceled out, and then some from the aero shell. Like, look at the so these cyan lines represent the moment. So how much force in kilonewtons of lift is it making in either direction? The heat shield is working. That's what I want the heat shield to do. That's not what I want the aero shell to do. The reason why I don't want it to do that is because, well, guess what? The heat shield's in front of the damn aero shell. This thing should not be doing that. It shouldn't be doing that. It shouldn't be generating any body lift. Perhaps if we occluded the shell first. See, it's going to do it again. But the thing is that I need this thing to generate lift, but I don't want this thing to generate lift, but I do want it to generate drag. What I was trying to do is see if I could get the heat shield to generate drag up there, but call it the rim round interface mount. Yeah, see, look, it wants to flip over. This is the problem that I'm having. Huh. Wait, where's the other one? Oh, it's over there. All right. Well. Good testing. Learned some stuff from that. So, all right, let's take the heat shield off. That idea didn't seem to work, but I might want to try this again just with this thing like way out there, just by itself. Let's see if that actually does something. Because I really want Kerbal to think that the front of this is the back. And I think that's the right way to do it. So let's send it again because that's funny. So you have to move the bulk of the lift generation to the heat shield. Yeah. Yeah. If we really want to get the cross range that we need, that's what we got to do. We have to tell Kerbal to... But I can't just... I think just occluding the arrow shell is not going to work. It's not going to help me either. But... if I can get this to do what I think it's going to do, basically have Kerbal think hierarchically that that's the back of the vehicle, might work. Here, let's see what this does with the ring up there at the top. Send it! It's giving you lift in the wrong direction. Yeah, Aqualex, that's what everybody's been saying in chat, but... okay, what else are we going to use? Panel tessellation? It's going to give us the same problem. It's going to probably exacerbate it. Panel tessellation would make it worse. Hey, Za, what's going on, man? Pretty. Yeah. See what I'm talking about, dudes? Look at how much freaking... in this particular circumstance, check this out. The arrow shells, 37 kilonewtons to the heat shield's 8. If I could get those numbers reversed, we'd be in business. Can you use an engine plate as a heat shield? Is getting rid of that ledger on the heat shield an option? The ledge is there for the engines, dude. It has to be there. Yeah, I mean, this one didn't flip over because the structural tube is stabilizing us out in this regard, which is good. That's a good thing, but yeah.
Discovery,
All
go
right.
at throttle up.
Hey, Jonathan, that's 48 months, 40 years. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, so now I'm wondering... Alright, get rid of the heat shield with the payload interface up there at the top. Just dump that for a moment. Let's get crazy. Give me a 2.5 adapter. Alright, give me this. Like that. Set the shroud to nothing. Auto strut. Disable staging. And then do the dragless fairing trick here. Let's make the arrow shell dragless and let's see what this does. I'm very interested in seeing how this thing all kind of fits together. Now, take our heat shield, attach the heat shield to the fairing. Alright, let's see what it does again. Bopple the spacecraft. Let's see what it does, dudes. Alright, ready? Yes. Yes. This should work. It's very stable on the way up because the heat shield is making a ton of drag. But see, what I'm worried about now is because we did that and we don't have the arrow shell making any drag anymore. I'm wondering if this piece is going to be enough to stabilize it out. We'll see. All right. Wait for it. Pretty. Oh God. Oh! 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 That's pretty funny. Now let's see what happens. So we know that's not making anything. So now it's a balancing act between our structural tube and the heat shield. Turn the SAS off. We're going full ballistic. Go get him. Go get him, Mav. There we go. Much less
Discovery,
oscillation,
go and throttle
dudes. It's still there, but come on. Don't flip over. Why would you want to do that? Don't do that. Ah. Crap. No EC. Wait, why did we run out of EC that time? It doesn't matter. It's okay. What are you trying to do exactly? Not have it flip over, Jens. Sorry, I haven't been following. Yeah, it's all good. I'm trying to get it to stabilize. It will not. It won't stabilize with the heat shield down there. Okay, that didn't do what I wanted, unfortunately. So, dragless arrow shell. The arrow shell is actually giving us more stabilization, isn't it? So, get rid of that, put that back together, like that. So, okay. All right. Let's launch this like this. I'm going to attach the heat shield fairing backwards. I just want to see something real quick. I shouldn't have taken all those SRBs off, but it's all right. We probably only need 4. 6 may have been a little bit overkill, but that's okay. So basically I'm using the SRBs to just get the capsule up in the air. I'm just trying to get the thing to fly up. And then we'll give it batteries so it doesn't run out of EC. I'm wondering if... So, here's what I'm trying to do. If this works how I want, what I can do is make the heat shield in 2 fairings. That was suggested, but not exactly in the same way that was suggested in chat. I have one part of the heat shield facing up and the other part of the heat shield facing down. The facing up part, right here, is at the back of the hierarchy. The facing down part, the part to make it not look like the bottom of this just has a fairing base on it. That part will occlude. So the downward facing heat shield, the part that looks nice, is going to be occluded, and the upward facing heat shield, the actual aerodynamic properties of the heat shield, we can make out of a different fairing, and that might be able to do what I think might be able to do what I'm trying to do here. Because sometimes Kerbal doesn't understand backwards fairings. Sometimes it doesn't. So let's see. SAS off. Let's see if this stabilizes. Just out of curiosity here. So turn on the arrow menu. Let's see what happens. got you, KSP. I got you. I got you. Gotcha. Very nice.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Hey, Cryptech, 48-month resub. Thank you. Wait, why isn't this thing generating body lift? Why is that thing the only thing that's generating body lift? Wait, we're not generating any body lift from the lower fairing. Did I miss? Wait, why does that not generate body lift now? Am I stupid? I didn't see any cyan lines coming from that one. It makes drag, but not body lift. Have it, Bubba? Yeah. I did. Hellfish, yes. I broke something. That's a curveball. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting it to not do body lift. That's weird. That's strange. Mechanics quirk or something else. I'm not sure. What? Alright, here's what I'm going to try. I think it may have had to do with how, with the panel being attached, what I attached it to. So before we had that, we know that generates body lift, right? Now what happens if I flip this thing around like that and do the exact same thing, but having the back node covered and the front node of that fairing, which is technically the back of the vehicle, open? What happens? Clicked off the screen. What happens now? We should also verify that there was actually no body lift coming from that thing, but... Not necessarily, Shaw. Okay. Okay. So now, what happens What happens? That didn't generate any body lift. That did generate body lift. That's what I wanted, right? Let me just verify. Let's attach that to the front fairing. Now, well, not verify. I want to try something. That's attached to the front now, right? The front node on that should be yeah, we can't attach anything to it. The back node though, we can. All right, cool. Now take this, right? So that fairing is technically facing forward. It's attached forward, but it's facing backwards. Yeah, Jonas. If the arrow shell is going to generate body lift, because Kerbal understands the fairing's flying... The fairing's facing the correct direction, but flying backwards. Kerbal seems to understand that correctly. It seems like Kerbal was having a little bit of trouble with a backwards-facing fairing in that regard. So, let's take a look. Let me see something here. So, my theory here is that if we attach this to the forward node of that fairing, that's how we attached it. We attached it on the front, and then I gizmoed it, turned it around, and faced it backwards. Now it shouldn't generate body lift, but it will generate drag. Right? It'll still generate drag. Yeah. Now let's see what this does. Now it is generating body lift. Huh. No. That did generate body lift. Maybe I just didn't see it right. Or it just was configured in a way that wasn't generating a ton. Let me... The next thing that I want to try is... Let's put some mass into this thing. Let's try to get the mass down low for the heat shield, right? And we're probably going to need more rockets to do that. Because we're moving some payload now. Now I want to see what happens if I'm looking at this right. If we take that COM and make it low, we should be real good. That's going to once again prove to be a little bit of a challenge with the heat shield and everything, but I don't really want to have to ballast the design unless I absolutely have to. I'd prefer to... I mean, Mason, we could do the clip fuel tanks. I prefer to find another solution rather than just, oh, I want ballast here. Hey, PI, what's up, man? Yeah, right, Rocket Guy? Let's shut the SAS off. I want to see if this thing stabilizes. Yep. That stabilized right out. Mass distribution. That would have ripped the chutes completely off. Yeah, that's my problem too, Jonas. Okay. So mass distribution plays a gigantically huge role in this thing. But the LMLV... Rocket, I only remember... that actually reminds me of the Blue Origin, the New Shepard in-flight abort, where the thing went like this a couple of times. The capsule oscillated right and oscillated left and then stabilized out because it had no fins, because it's just a rocket shoehorned into the back of a capsule, right? Now where my mind is going is that how the frick are we gonna do that? I mean, like, in my mind, this thing is gonna end up looking like the N1's first stage. We'd have to make the shape a little bit more oblong. See the first stage? It might end up looking like that. Which actually... I actually learned something the other day. Somebody said this on stream, and I'm not sure how true it is, but it does make sense. The N1 uses differential thrust to steer as well, which is just... Alright. That's cool, I guess. I mean, that's awfully complicated for 1969, man. That makes the Saturn V look simple. That's part of the reason why it shut down its engine in pairs when its engines died. What in the name of balls does the freaking avionics package in that thing look like? Can you... How the heck do you even make that work? Like, in the 1960s, in the Soviet Union. How is that even possible? It's not like you have the infinite resources that the freaking US had at the time, right? Like... It also kept catching fire. Yeah, yeah, Vulcan, yeah. That's exactly. The short answer is that you don't. It's so screwed up, man. Not well. Oh, they blew up, so it didn't work. That's right, MK. The short answer is that you don't. Man, if they had only done some static fire testing, dude, this could have been a good idea. Could have. Yeah, they're the ones that figured out stage combustion. Yeah, the brains were there, Nova. It's just the tech wasn't there. Hey, what up, Starship? All right. I mean, guys, I'm not so sure. I'm not sure how much going with like an oblong design is going to help us, though. Like, I would like to do a more oblong design, but wait, how did I get to that? I mean, actually, no, we don't want a more oblong design. A more oblong design would the heat shield's moment of inertia would be further away ultimately from the center of mass, and that would give it more moment, which would make it want to fly backwards even worse. So we don't want more oblong designs. It needs to be stubbier, believe it or not. Stupid question, do we know the weight distribution of an independent re-entry vehicle? Independent re-entry vehicle. What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean. Like, this needs to be that shape. But see, my problem now is that my heat shield fairing is like well into the payload bay. I mean, we could probably get away with it. Oof. ICBM. Oh, ICBMs re-enter cone first, dude. They're cone first. So I'm asking about weight distribution. Yeah, they're cone first. I mean, this thing definitely looks the part. I'm thinking we might need a little bit of space, a little bit of a gap, just a smidge. And if I did that same panel design that I had, the panels would most definitely be occluded. All right. Okay. Let's see what this does. I'm basically launching this thing up on an SR, with a bunch of SRMs to do basically wind tunnel testing. I need to get it to accelerate. By the way, how do warheads not melt? They have a thermal protection system, Jonas, just like anything else. Yeah. Yeah, see, we're kind of balanced here. This thing's trying to fly like a lifting body, which is, yeah, yeah. Wow, okay. We actually got a horizontal velocity component here, which is interesting.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Okay. Hey, Shy Gamer, 23-month resub. What's going on, buddy? So I mean, the reality of the situation is that we really need mass down the bottom, like. It seems like it's too short, Stokes run. It's because part of it is supposed to be SERV, dude. It's supposed to not exactly be that. Those are the proportions that I used. Yeah. Chrysler did have a... There's one drawing from Chrysler that I've seen, though, dude. See that one? I'm wondering what the heck that thing is. And where that render came from. Just out of curiosity. I've seen this render around. And I'm just not really sure where it came from. But when you Google SCRV, it always pops up. What if the scale issue? What if the scale... The big version have these same issues? Yeah, for the most part. Sorry, brain broke again. Yeah, I translated it. I think we're good. This is a tough problem to solve. I did not anticipate this one. I didn't anticipate this being this much of a pain. Kerbal can still throw me a curveball even after all these years. That's cool. It's good. That means we're trying stuff we haven't done before, which is cool. What if we did 12 tanks clipped into the lower parts of the heat shield? This is an idea that Masoneer had it in chat a little bit earlier. 12 tanks clipped, I mean, to kind of make up for the fact that we, like this. It makes up for the fact that, you know, of the wonky fairing aerodynamics. You know, if Kerbal's not understanding stuff, we can change things here and there and do a little bit of cheesy stuff to get it to do what we want. I really never have a problem doing stuff like that if it means getting the thing to fly like the real one. You know, before I just had a half tank in here. Right, we had a half down here, and then the big tank was there. If we clip the double tanks here, we might be able to get what we want. And then, if we did that on top of it, Mason, I'm doing my part. You know, and then we end up not putting anything up there where there would be fuel tank on the real design. That gives us 4604 and 50. Ooh. What happens if we put this in here as payload mass? Where do those numbers end up going? 4309. Ah, yes. Yes, Neo, yes. Once again, the tanks are clipped together, but there's a lot of extra mass inside of the heat shield, and in that extra mass, there would be fuel tank anyway. I just can't make a conic fuel tank in this game. Like, I can't make one to conform to the fairing shape. I think this might, with this stuff though, it might be a little bit overboard. That could do us well here. Let me check something. Remember, we gotta keep the mass as low as possible. Oh, that almost gets us there. King, this is so cool. You have no idea what I'm looking at. Can you give me... But I have no idea what I'm looking at. Can you give me a run through? Yeah, yeah. Give me 1 second, King. Yeah, sure, sure. Okay. So, King, this is SERV. So, you remember the Freedom rockets from back in the day? You know, we could build them with the crane and send them like over and over again, right? You know, fly back the cigarette rocket, right? And I wanted to go full SSTO with like the X-33 project, etc., etc. This is kind of me thinking, like, simplifying an SSTO project. Basically, we have a capsule-shaped stage. That SSTO is all the way up. Deploys the payload, comes down, re-enters like a capsule, and then propulsively lands. Right? That's a little bit easier said than done, as I'm figuring out. But yeah, that's essentially the idea. I want to see if I can land something. I have experience like doing propulsive landings and stuff. That's not a big deal because we've landed plenty of Falcon 9 style boosters in this game, etc., etc. Easy peasy. But the idea is that like I want to land this thing like right next to the pad, and then like scoop it up, put it back near the crane, put it back on the pad, go again, like, and just keep going. Like I'm having trouble with mass distribution here because of fuel density, etc. Because this is not Hydrolox, and the original vehicle called for Hydrolox, but that's what I'm trying to do. It's kind of a combination of SERV and Stoke Aerospace. Stoke Aerospace is Nova Rocket second stage. So I'm trying to balance fuel design here. That's what I'm trying to figure out. That ain't gonna work. There's no center of lift. I can't tell what the center of lift is because fairings generate body lift and not wing lift, dude. So COL is basically useless to us here. That's why I've been doing so much wind tunnel testing. Cool. Yeah. Yes. That would be 6 tanks, and that's enough, from what I can tell. And that center of mass is not moving either. What happens if we drain that? Yeah, very little mass deviation here. You know it's fall when you get start to get chapped lips. Possible destacking. Looking at a possible destack. Crews plugging the S25 QD plate little over an hour ago. And the arm was just retracted. Oh. Pad is also being cleared. I haven't been around a ton since Stoke started showing off, but man, do they have cool ideas, huh? Yeah. Well, King, how this project kind of came to fruition, dude, is I was showing people what's the hopper. And I was like, man, that would be really cool if they made that into an SSTO, because you could simplify a design like SERV. I was saying that in a Space News one day, and then a couple folks in chat were like, you should do that. You should make that. And I'm like, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Hey, Raised, road to 100, 64-month resub. Thank you. What if Stoke is just completing the SERV design? Well, Aqualux and I were talking about this the other day, Hellfish. I think Stoke's long-term goal is to do that. Start with second stage reuse, right? And use it as a prototype. Use the Nova rocket as a prototype for SSTO tech. Because why else would they build it the way that they did? You know, expander bleed with the heat shield, etc., etc. Why would you do that? I mean, yeah, it's great for a reusable second stage, but if it's good enough for a reusable second stage, it's good enough for an SSTO, dude. Yeah, Aqualex, that's possible. That center of mass is right, Jens. The problem is that because of the aeroshell fairing base plate being back here, all of the aerodynamic properties get applied to the vehicle down below the center of mass. And if body lift and drag are getting applied to the vehicle here, it makes it want to flip over and it makes it want to fly, you know, aeroshell first. Engines back. It wants the nuclear warhead. I'm trying to think of a creative solution to get around that problem. The thing is, well, we have a hollow payload bay in here. I can't really go... I don't want to impede on the payload bay, because the simple solution is just make a fairing here and place it backwards, right? To get the aeroshell property, and then close it on the heat shield, to get the aeroshell properties to apply correctly. The problem there is that now I've closed up our payload bay, and now I won't be able to take it off, right? I guess we raided. Oh, Red Panda raid. Thank you very much. Yeah, Twisted, what's going on, buddy? Speak of the devil. Bon, what's going on? Haven't been here for a bit. If the drag comes from the base of the fairings, could a normal-oriented, smaller fairing on the nose, big enough at the base... Could having a normal-oriented, smaller fairing on the nose, but big enough at the base to fit the base of an inverted fairing for the bottom of the craft, then drag would be positioned higher. Well, yeah, Bon, absolutely. Hey, good to see you, buddy, by the way. Yeah, but it's going to cover up our payload bay. There's an internal payload volume here that I need to keep open. Occluded aeroshell and wings. Yeah. I'm really looking to avoid doing that, dude. But yeah, that could get her done. The other thing we could do is just put fairings up here. Or not fairings, we could have the aeroshell go to the 45 degree and then stop. Go to the 45 degree marker, stop. And then tessellate, use panel tessellation for the rest. I don't know, I've never used panel tessellation to make a cone before. I'm not sure how well that's going to work. Let me take a look. Let's go 3D cone wireframe. How would a tessellation job be done on this? What about starting the fairing at the bottom of the payload bay going down, then the second one for the top part? The second one for the top part. That would be cool, Hellfish. I mean, that'd be neat, but yeah. I'm not competent enough to be able to make something like that. So the problem is the triangles get progressively bigger. They change shape over time, so that would make this difficult to do. Ship 25 lift has started. That's what I'm thinking about right now, Hellfish. Yeah, equilateral and right triangles repeating are not going to give me the right shape. Yeah, this is what I was wondering. Okay. You can push payloads through a fairing on a docking port with a piston, undock the payload while clear of the fairing, and retract the piston docking port back through the fairing. I mean, Bond, that would work, but I would like to find a different way to do that where we don't have to push stuff through something. I don't want to do that. But that would work. That'll do it. Yeah, sure. So that I'll keep that as a possible way of doing this. Like starting both fairings at the middle instead of the bottom. Once again, you're screwing your payload bay volume doing that. Like, completely screwing your payload bay volume. It would work, but I want to keep this tube uninterrupted. Understand? I'm thinking. Coffee. We are in a pickle. Anyway, Red Panda, thank you for the raid, man. It's good to see you. How you doing? I didn't see any raid notification pop up, but I do appreciate it, man. Well, Red, what were you up to? Does attaching the fairing to the front of the payload and then sliding it backward move the arrow forward? Ah, Creed, that's a good idea. We tried that a little bit earlier. Yeah, I was thinking like maybe, attach it up here or something, right? But that doesn't do it. Best shot would probably be tessellation. That's what I was afraid of, dude. The part down on this thing was so low, man. It would have been so nice. Hey, Jenny, what's up, dude? The raid did pop up in chat, though? Okay. I must have just missed it. Then it should be okay. Anyway, Red Panda, thank you for the raid. Guys, Red Panda's a good buddy of mine. We go way back. Give the guy a follow if you're feeling limber. He's a good dude. Good dude. Good person. If you rotate it, it might drill through the air. Shishupti, yeah. I know. You know, you were saying put stabilizers out on the back. I kind of need to do that, but I don't really want to. That's the problem. I don't want to because, yeah, that's not what the design calls for, but we're kind of constricted by Kerbal's arrow right now. There's not much I can really do. The full stack didn't last long. I don't really want to do this way, but like I said, we might not have a choice. No, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna do what I want. How am I going to do that on the 20-degree portion, Aqualex? I'm not... How would we do that? I'd have to interrupt the fairing. Or if you're saying just put wings on it, yeah, maybe. That wouldn't screw us up too much on the way up. I don't think. You should not treat the air the same way as space. This was your mistake. Yeah. Nah, it's just Kerbal's arrow is weird. I didn't make any mistakes here. No, I get it, but this is not generating air. The aerodynamic calculations are applied to the vehicle down here from this piece, dude. So that's not... it's hard to do when the drag that should be applied to the vehicle over here naturally through the aerodynamics gets applied to the front of the vehicle instead. It makes it very unstable. What have we found out about the arrow? Not much, dude. Can I post a link to show what you mean? Yeah, I mean, Bon, you should have regular. If not, any mods around? Can we give Bon Yeti regular? Bon, I'm pretty sure you have regular, dude, but post it, see what happens. Thanks, Jim. Yeah. Alright, let me see. You made a neutron rocket? Let me take a look-see. Cool. Nice ascent. Oh, got a little, going a little fast there. Is Neutron supposed to go do it once around like that? Is it supposed to do that? Either way, nice build, dude. I don't know if... I thought it was supposed to boost back. I could be wrong, though. But great build, though. That's fantastic. Maybe wing tessellate the front. Well, that's what we were just talking about. I don't know how you'd wing tessellate a cone. 95, I've never done that before. How would we do it? You couldn't get it to go back. Yeah, I got you. So you made it once around, which, I mean, whatever. Hey, whatever works, dude. It looks great. You did a good job. Triangles, I don't know. My roll control thrusters need to be closer to the bottom anyway. They were causing translational problems. Hey, nice guy, what's going on? Not much, how about you? I'm doing alright, man. Doing just fine. See, the problem with this is that it puts mass on the wrong side. It puts mass on the side of the vehicle that we don't want. It'll move my COM a lot further forward, but... Let's see. I'll be able to tell you if this is going to do what I think it's going to do just by putting it out here. What if we put radiators on the bottom to counter? It's not about countering the bottom. Those panels are up there to to counter what we already have, Cozy. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. The final RS-25E pre-production test campaign begins today. Oh, they moved that. They moved it to today. What time are we looking at for firing? Okay, those are not occluded. That's good. That's what we want. What about in here? Those absolutely are. Cool. 2:48 Eastern. Cool. Thinking the delivery the panels give this. Yeah, I don't hate it. Send it up in the air. See what it does. "95 Vulcan says you smell, by the way. Just to make sure, I want to see if how well this jives with our like existing piece. I'm sorry, that expensive piece.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, oh, nice guy. Hey, 4-monther. Thank you. Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for the support, everyone. I hope you guys are enjoying this. This is a little bit of a challenge. I didn't anticipate this one being this big of a pain in the butt, but he said butt. Okay. Attach rockets to it. See what happens. This reminds me of a problem you had with your Eve mission. I had inflatable heat shield only on the bottom, and it would want to flip. I fixed it by putting another one on the other end of the ship. Nice. All right, ready? Get ready to send it. It's the Sarlacc pit. Hit me, 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 hit me with those laser beams. Oh man, I like that song, but it mutes the VOD. Bye-bye. Alright, SAS off. Let's see what happens. thought those had parachutes. Because we definitely do not. Yeah, I'm not sure if the tanks are going to shift it how we want. It literally wants... It's literally using the heat shield as a gigantic wing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Can we see what this would do as a traditional capsule heat shield design in a test? What? What do you mean a traditional capsule heat? I don't understand. There's no heat shield there is no heat shield that is that size, dude. Cinnamon, 12 months, a year of fun and engineering. Glad you're having a good time, man. Fairing heat shield to the edges and maybe some ballast. I have no idea why you think that's going to fix something. Why is that going to fix anything? What is making this heat shield bigger going to solve? I'm confused. I don't get it. Why would we do that? Some sort of deplorable air brake system at the top. A matter of using something that is known to likely work. That's not gonna fix anything. I don't... No. No. That's not going to fix anything. That's... It might make it a little bit better, but it's not going to fix it because that's not even trying... Nah. That's not doing... That's not fixing the problem. That's putting more aerodynamic calculations ahead of the center of mass when we're flying this way. That's not going to do us any good. Hey, Kix, what's going on? You're just giving the heat shield more moment. The problem is that remember, the problem is that our center, the game thinks our center of pressure is around the heat shield, which it's because it's calculated off the fairing base and not off fairing shape, right? So that's not. We have to fool the game somehow into thinking that the center of pressure on the capsule is over here somewhere, because this should be creating a ton of drag. Making the heat shield do that is not going to fix that problem. Happy birthday to Bill Anders. There you go. Yeah, that's not going to fix the problem, dude. Let's see, like, now I'm running out of ways to figure this out. I'm running out of the bag of tricks, dudes. That's the other problem. I'm running out of things. Well, 95, we could. I don't want to. If I make the heat shield drag. If we make the heat shield dragless, I suppose. But we didn't have much luck doing that last night because I need the heat shield to generate aero because I need it to work like a wing when we're coming in for re-entry. Simultaneously, yeah, I need my center of mass lower. I think putting the center of mass lower might fix the problem. What node is the aero shell fairing connected to? The front piece. I don't think you're allowed to say what this looks like. SMH my head. Yeah, there you go. Would connecting it to a node inside the heat shield fairing do anything? We could occlude the shell fairing inside of the heat shield, yeah, but if we do that, that means the mass and the aerodynamic calculations from that get applied and dampened out and applied to the heat shield itself, giving it more moment. That shifts your center of pressure further away from center of mass. How about having 3 fairings? The heat shield and shallow angle being dragless, and then have a payload door fairing that isn't dragless, so that it pulls on the top. I'm not even sure putting a fairing up at the top like that, Tessa, is going to, like a payload bay door, basically. I'm not even sure that that's going to fix the problem. Not to derail the conversation, but I watched about 12 parts of the SSTO Star Raker build that you were doing a few weeks ago. Did you end up completing it and flying it? Jesse, I didn't get the thing to completely get up and come back down to space. When I rebuilt the engine section the second time around, I introduced a structural flaw into the design where the thing just likes to blow up. You'll try to take it off down the runway, it likes to explode. I guess I made the engines too powerful. Not a bad problem to have, but I have to basically take that whole thing apart again to try and rebuild it, to get it to work right. I never got it completely, but we got it close. And then Starfield completely killed it. But hey, thanks for watching the VODs. I'm glad you liked that project. Star Raker was fun. Yeah. If the lower fairings are dragless, it might. Well, Tessa, that's going to stabilize it, but then that gives us great ballistic stability. But here's the thing. I'm trying I need the heat shield to generate drag so I can fly the capsule, so the capsule has cross range. We need to be able to do this with it. I need to be able to use the roll RCS to be able to get the capsule to skip so we can steer it back to where it needs to go. I want cross-range capability from the capsule, and that's... Yeah, see how the heat is more on one side here? Because the center of mass is shifted over there. Ah, dang, that's too bad, but explosions are cool too, I suppose. Yeah, Jesse, Starfield kind of killed my want to finish that project. But don't worry, when I shelf projects like that, I usually end up going back to them. Like SERV, I tried to do this before. I've tried to make this previously a couple of times. Didn't necessarily run into this exact problem, but yeah, I've definitely done this before. But yeah, we'll go back to Star Raker eventually, dude. And when we do those VODs, will be posted. I gotta take that whole sucker apart, man. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but... With the way KSP Arrow works, you're gonna have to choose cross-ranger control. You can have one or the other, not both. Hard disagree. There's a way we can solve this problem, we just haven't thought it up yet. How much can you manipulate lift via the hierarchy? That's what I was tooling around with before, trying to figure out a way to get around it, but... Oh, excuse me. I mean, Helvish, this might do it. Here, what happens if we... No, I was gonna say reroute. Maybe if we have the capsule fly this way. What if you put the heat shield off axis? What's that gonna do? That doesn't solve anything. I mean, that'll make it want to kind of curve, I guess. I mean, it wants to fly that way, so let's, That's not a good idea. Where's the thumper? Yeah, Hellfish, then the thing just flips over and then it flies nose up through the atmosphere with the arrow shell flying first. That's not going to change anything. Remember, center of pressure. Center of pressure. Moving the heat shield's just going to shift our center of pressure up. It's not going to shift it forward. We need the center of pressure to be higher. Huh. Oh, I kept the ore inside. Oops. I was like, why is that curving? I put ballast in there from the last test. See, there's a ballast tank. We do not want that. There we go. Proton. We installed the capsule upside down. Is that an actual shield like a heat shield? It's a fairing. Interesting. Huh. Huh. I rooted the heat shield. The heat shield is root part. What is this cursed thing that you have made? Don't worry about it. It's about to get even more cursed. I know these rockets are cursed right now, friend. But it's gonna get way more cursed. Oh, Mr. Krabs, I am so confused. What's up, Knight? How you doing? Panzerfaust, that you? No. Nice lawn dart. Thank you. Yeah. It's working. You decoupled it. It's fine. It's fine. Nothing bad will happen. It'd be nice to be able to see trees. 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 Ugh. Okay. 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 I think we're on to something. I think rerouting it to the heat shield being the root part might actually make Kerbal understand this better. I'm a little bit worried about what happens if we would, you know, like try to go ascend with this thing, but we'll see. We'll see. Staging is good this time. It was one of the mods freaking out. The visual mods to the game. Where are the next Starlink satellites going to go over? US, Europe. All Starlink satellites fly over all of those things, Jens. A Starlink train? You'll see one there. I mean, there's 1,000 of them flying over you right now. You'll see them later. You only see them at dusk and dawn. I have visual mods, Knight. No game-breaking mods. I have visual mods, and I have, or not game-changing. The only one that would be the closest game-changing mod that I have is Kerbal Construct, so I can build more stuff in the Space Center. And KRPC, so I can code my own systems, yeah. Yep. Yep. I mean, I'm not sure if that's pushing me down. That's probably helping me a little bit, but oh god. Okay. Vab. Oh, it's okay. We broke the booster's fall. It's fun. Oh, no, 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 no! Booster! The probe core survived. This gives you lawn dart vibes. It basically is, dude. It's basically what it is. Here, let me get some separator motors that will push this thing out of the way. I need to see the test again without the SRB poking the back of this thing. It's a rocketed CN tower. Yeah. Have you abandoned the SSTO project for making nukes? No. 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 Maybe a little. Send it. This is the advanced lawn dart, okay? Okay, let's use the stage wings to stabilize this out so we get a nice fall without having the capsule flip over. Okay, that should be good enough. Send it. That's it, dudes. There it is. Look. Totally stable. Very stable. Rerouting parts of the heat shield fixed this. Yeah. Fixed it just fine. Look at that. Perfect. But will it work at REI? I don't know. I'll have to ask if it wants to work at a sporting goods store. Re-entry interface. Yeah, maybe. We're gonna have to test it more. I'm gonna have to put the vehicle back together. Actually, we don't even have to put the vehicle back together. I can go take the old version of this and just reroute it to the heat shield and see if it works. But this ring, we have to have the rim up top. That has to be there. The reason why that has to be there is because now the game thinks that's the back of the vehicle. And now that works, that the ring is working as my stabilizer here. Where's the booter? Oh, it's over there. Yoink. Booter. There is the booter. Are you gonna go back to KSP 2 anytime soon? When new content releases for it, sure. These are the same 3 fairings, right? So let's go. Your aerostructure reinforces my desire to never play without FAR installed. All right. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say. Congratulations. Good for having convictions. What do you want? What do you want me to say? All right. So let's switch this to the R3, right? Actually, technically, we'll switch this to R4. 17. Send it. I should work on our fuel tank configuration. I think we can make a better fuel tank config. But, whatever. Let's overwrite the demo. Save. Overwrite. Now, I'm going to... Oh, this has a dragless fairing in it. No, not what I want. Get rid of it. We're going to reroute to the payload fairing. Or the heat shield fairing. That would have been where we needed to be. Alright, payload is in there. We just got to get rid of that. And then we need to...
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, Skydrift, 52 months. What's going on, buddy? Tube. Tube. We need to adjust our roll control actuators, and then I need a set of thrusters here. Okay, those, we need actuation toggles for just that. That's it. That's all we need them for. Just yaw, pitch, and then fore aft. Cool. Now, I need to copy this piece. Get rid of those. Set these to the arrow. Alright, I'm just configuring the engines, guys, that's all. There, that'll work. Okay, all my engines are clocked. We have our stabilizer ring up top. This will give me a good interface for attaching other things, but for now, what I'm gonna do is put just a nose cone on it, like what Chrysler called for back in the day. The 12 tank setup, I'll worry about fuel configuration here in a little bit. Let's see what happens. 52 months, Skydrift. That's pretty cool, man. Could you imagine the real-life complications of just the aero design of SCRV? The test sure would have been hilarious to see. It would have been tough, but capsules tend to work better in real life than they do in Kerbal. Alright, send it. Alright, vehicle's looking good. 5 kilometers in altitude, 135 meters a second. Everything's looking good here. Oh, the spikes look sweet, dude. That looks so cool. Trees, 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 trees. 10 kilometers. Start the secondary pitch over. Vehicle supersonic. Rates looking good. Kilometers in altitude, 800 meters a second. Everything's still looking real good. Try to limit throttling back for good orbital insertion. 1.2 G. Everything's looking real nice here. Great ascent, actually. This is really good. Alright. Keep that nose going. Bye-bye. Later. Abracadabra, Holmes. $1,900 meters a second. Everything looking real good. This is a really beautiful descent here. 2 kilometers a second. AP is at 88 kilometers up. Current altitude 68 kilometers and climbing. Alright, shutting off. Stage cutoff 1 now. 2112. Good album. Alright, we're going to coast here for a moment. This does have 5 tons of payload in it, right? Yes, it does. Excellent. This frickin' thing, dude. I mean, if this solves it, I'm gonna be pretty happy because, yeah, this is a great design to begin with. Okay, next burn here is in 2 minute 45. Oh, I'll turn on infinite electric for this test. I didn't put batteries on it. Thank you, Gag. Don't forget the landing gear. What do you know? You know nothing about VTOLs. You know nothing of VTOLs. Alright, I'm going to fast forward. Prepare to fast forward. Prepare to fast forward. Fast forwarding, sir. Fast forwarding. (99 by 102). Good orbit insertion. That was perfect. We have... yeah, wish I had a little bit more fuel for the downhill, but that's okay. All right, let's get our maneuvers dialed in. I was gonna ask how much do we need on the way down. Don't know, Tars. It shouldn't be much. 500 of that is fuel, so we'll see where it takes us, man. All right, so we're on a shuttle, the shuttle re-entry trajectory. All right. Okay, let's get the deorbit. Okay. Deorbit nominal. I have to make a toggle to shut that all off. Alright. We are in fine control mode. Alright. Let's see what happens during the deorbit. So once again, this is just gonna be ballistic, guys. I'm just gonna try to get this thing back. See if it wants to fly heat shield first. Okay. Hands off. Are you doing a stoke? Something like that. I'm just... Alright, set the camera to free. Have you tried KSP 2 yet? Vexing, I played KSP 2 from when it went into early access for about 5 months. Yeah, I've played KSP 2, sure. Have you tried KSP 2 yet? Gotta watch the rates. Pitch rates decreasing negative, which is good. Okay, we have positive pitch rate and a slight positive yaw rate. Pitch rate is going 0.4, 0.5 degrees a second radian, 0.6, 0.7. If that number stops and then starts to go down, we should be pretty stable. Not 0.98. Degrees of second radian and decreasing. Yes. 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 You think it's going okay? Vex, I talked to Nate, the creative director, this morning. Yeah, it's fine. It's just going to take time. Dude, this thing's nice and stable. Very good. Still don't understand why the arrow shell is acting as our heat sink, but hey, whatever. A little bit of oscillation is unavoidable, Tessa. It's never going to be perfectly stable. Real capsules do exactly that. It does happen. I just want the damn thing to fly heat shield first, and that looks to be exactly what's going on here. See, now all I got to do is offset the center of mass. Now that I know aerodynamically this vehicle is going to work correctly. Offsetting the center of mass, now we have cross range. We're not going to have nowhere near as much cross range as the space shuttle because we don't have wings. But, yeah, that is not the solution I thought would work. Rerouting, setting the heat shield as root part and basically telling Kerbal that vehicle aerodynamics should be calculated with this being the front of the vehicle. Yeah, that worked, man. It's oscillating a little bit. As long as it's self-stabilizing, I don't care. That's how real capsules fly. Yeah, we gotta wait until we get into the soupy stuff. You're right, you're right. 2 meters of cross range. No, well, 2 of D's meters. VY. Got him good. Remove the slant? I did remove the slant, Spooty. Yeah. Stennis is live. Nice. Did Nate say when they would have any news? Because I'm a pretty patient person. Blue, news is coming sooner rather than later. News is coming sooner rather than later. Yep, I have that right from Nate about 3 hours ago. That's who I was typing to. Doom, do you see the thing wanting to fly? Do you see it wanting to flip? Perfectly stable, baby. That's exactly what I'm looking for. We figured it out. Yeah, blue, yeah. Totally ballistic, capsule still nice and stable. Looks like you're going to be way short. Turns out that capsules are a little less aerodynamic than the shuttle. Who knew? It's sick looking. I missed some of the design part, but it's neat. Thanks, man. Just add wings, Fivehead. Hey. You're not allowed to comment on VTOL designs, you. No. Bad. Okay. Guys, I'm sold. This is flying just fine. It's interesting. I did not think that that's what would do it, but that's what did it. Yeah, that's how we screwed with the thing hierarchically. We told we told Kerbal that that's the front of the vehicle and not the back, and now it's working just fine. Vehicle orientation is good. It's perfect, dude. Real good. And remember, we have payload. We still have the payload. I didn't jettison the payload like I usually do. Yeah. Okay, radar altimeter is on, but radar is sea level or coplanar at this point, so... all we should have to do now is just a little bit of this. Hey, 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 not bad, man, not bad. Now we just got to do that about 1,000 kilometers that way. Not bad, dude. That was good. That was real good. That was really good. Oh, yes. Oh, man, I'm so happy. Wow. Show off. Shh, you shut up. You shut up, man. I had to play a lot of KSP to learn how to do this right. Yes. Excellent. Yeah. All right. Cool. Very good. Very good. That was a great test. Not bad for a 50-ton brick. For a brick, it flew really good. Now let's weigh it down on one side. Ah, yes. And then we can redo the fuel tank design to get it more stable. Oh, dude, we are good. We are very good. Now program it to do that in Python. No. Need 1,000 kilometer cross range more. Dumping the stoke shield in favor of ballast. You know what? That's a good question. Oh. Subscale R4 didn't have the modifications made to it.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
The golf clap. Thumper with the golf clap. I think that heat shield is already crooked. It is. It already is. Look at the nose cone. That nose cone's pointed down. That would explain why it was just slightly offset. Oh. Oh. Wow. Pretty cool. Alright, so this is our updated R4. Override. Yeah, see? It was. It was freaking crooked. Or was the whole vehicle crooked? Or was it just the nose cone? RS-25 incoming in the next 10 minutes. Okay. Now let's... Dude, now I want to redo the fuel tank design. Just a little bit. Let's do that. Let's redo our tank design. If we can get more fuel into this thing, oh baby, this thing's gonna be money. All you'd have to do is calculate the relative delta V using leftover fuel and airspeed plus the coefficient of drag it in the altitude. Then it will activate the engines at the proper suicide burn altitude, something like 200 meters, I'd guess. Burbaps. What about getting it back to the landing pad, O-Force? How are we gonna do that? Sorry, I'm just really happy about that test. If we ballast this right, we might not need the heat shield. The crooked heat shield. I'd rather do I think Hellfish, I think Kerbal will understand the ballast the ballasted design better. I think it'll understand that better. But I'm not sure. I mean, we could really introduce a tilt into this thing if we really wanted to. We'd have to basically do this. Yeah. Yeah. We could do it. We'd have to thoroughly test both. I think Kerbal will understand ballast better, dude. Just that's with my experience with the arrow. We don't need to offset the ballast too much. It doesn't need to be that crazy. See last. No, I don't want to, W. Screw you. Yeah. Now what? Can we use tank position more than ballast? It's gonna be hard to do, but yeah, I don't see why not. That could make for a little bit of difficulty during ascent, dude. But yeah, that was the purpose of the subscale demonstrator, to see if I could get a balanced fuel load on the way up and balanced thrust on the way up and way down, and have the RCS compensate for the difference. That'll work during landing, right? That's why I switched to modulating RCS instead of modulating the cow controller. But setting the cow controller to have the center of thrust lined up with offset center of mass to begin with really makes it work. But another problem that we have to deal with is payload. The payload mass. That's something we really have to mess with. Because if I compensate for, an offset, right, and we put a different mass payload in there, well, our center of mass will be more towards the center on the way up. We're going to have to configure the cow controllers, I guess, somehow. But yeah, freaking breakthrough, dude. Either way. Just trying to minimize dead mass. No, I know. And I'm talking you through it, because that's what needs to be revisited right now anyway. Was Boeing's Onion launch vehicle all top mounted fairing? It looks like it, Rocket Guy, but that's the same idea. Oh, hey baby. Hey Star Raker, how you doing? Yeah, that looks like internal payload volume up at the top. What the frick? RP1 locks, toroidal locks tank, and a regular hydrogen. What the frick is this thing? Why would? Oh. This is a Haze Gray video. That's a really good render. Oh, that thing is huge, dude. Wow. Rocket Guy, was this using thrust modulation during re-entry as well? I don't see any engines get... Whoa. No. Get back here. I don't... Water? That's just silly. Boeing, you silly. Alright, hang on. We got an RS-25E engine test here. This is actually happening. This is a live video right now. The link for the RS-25 test has been linked 4 times before you linked it to me. I know, man. I know, I got it. I appreciate the help, though. Satana. Alright. Is this a VOD? No, this is live. This is a live test at Stennis. We're gonna take a quick break here. Because yeah, that's an RS-25E upgraded SLS engine. It's on the test stand down at Stennis. Please relink it. No! W, anytime Akabidi asks or something, say no. And then say a bunch of Dutch words at him that he won't understand that could possibly mean derogatory things. Do headphone users need to be concerned? Yeah, maybe. Is this more upgraded than the first SLS launch? Very upgraded, Mason, yeah. This is... So, you know how, like, we have conversations about, like, rebuilding Saturn V engines and stuff, and how we could do it, we just don't know how, and it would be really expensive? That's a shuttle engine doing the same thing. It's a shuttle... The RS-25E is a shuttle engine that's modern... It's a modern manufactured shuttle engine that's designed for SLS. So it's an RS-25 variant. It's designed to be expendable, and it's basically using modern manufacturing. Because shuttle engines haven't been manufactured in a long time. The ones on Artemis 1 were shuttle engines. They took them off of the shuttle and put them in the back. Actually, they have 2 engines installed, or 4 engines installed on Core Stage 2. Core Stage 2 has all of its engines. They haven't run out of previous RS-25s, Mason. Artemis 1, 2, and 3 will all be using X shuttle engines, and then the supply will be exhausted. So by Artemis 4, they're going to switch to the RS-25E, which is a better engine. It actually makes more power. Is it 4 to 5, Vulcan? There you go. Could have sworn they only had enough for 3, but it's all good, man. They have 16? Okay, yeah, see, I thought they had 12. Got it. 2 of which never flew. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 4 will use the old ones. Okay, so the RS-25Es are going to be in for Artemis 5. Tried my hand at a modded procedural parts 27 meter SERV. It flies pretty good. Original Discord link was a paragraph. Let me see Blue Flare. Oh, very nice. Yeah, with the trapdoors and everything. That's cool, man. 27 meters? Alright, so there should be a static... We should see this engine light up here in a moment. How big is the performance upgrade? I don't know. They're still testing. We'll find out soon. How big was the big onion? Gigantic. No countdown. Yeah, we're probably not going to see anything particularly here. There is sound. It's just super underdriven. So, you know, just in case NASA decides that they want to overdrive the sound willy-nilly, I'm going to set our volume to half. So this, guys, believe it or not, Vulcan, correct me if I'm wrong here, this is the final RS-25E test before they move into RS-25E production. I just saw someone walking on the catwalk, so it isn't immediate. Oh, did you? Final campaign, 10 tests of this engine over the next few months. Ah, okay, I got it. They're on the second from the bottom catwalk. Are you sure? It might be just... I don't know, man. Maybe. Might be just steam. I mean, you'll know they'll turn the water on in the flame bucket when they're ready to go. I mean, if it's not already on, I mean, there's a lot of mist coming out of the bucket there, so. This is Stennis Space Center, Jens, in Mississippi. That is a rocket test stand. They're testing an SLS motor. They will be testing an SLS motor here momentarily. It's a developmental engine, Thomas? Yeah, cool. It's E0525. Cool. Be nice to do this with a J2X. What? Did I say that out loud? Sorry. The second one, Gah. It's... Well... So... It's been upgraded over time. It's a developmental engine, so I don't think this is like an X shuttle. There definitely is people walking up on there. Yeah, Hokie, you're absolutely right. There's people walking on the test stand. Guys, we ain't seen a test. They're not gonna fire anytime soon. Is the tower at the top the fuel tank? The white tanks above this are fuel tanks, yes. There's no audio. Clear leg triangles, yep. Yeah, it is. The bucket water is running. Vulcan, that was not steam. It was not steam. There were people walking around on this platform up here. And why would they go live? Not sure. I don't know what the procedure is for like being next to the test stand. Like maybe these dudes, yep, see them up there? They're walking around up there. I saw a shadow. It's Bigfoot. Actually, I think this is a service gantry, guys. If I'm looking at this correctly, this platform, it'll actually... Metroid 72 months. That's been 6 years. Jeez. Yeah. I can't tell. Like, I think this platform retracts. Because we've seen this camera before. We've seen camera 442, and you can usually see the entire engine. There's people walking around up there, so yeah, we'll get back to Kerbal in a second. I'll switch this over here. Oh, see? Oh, that's cool. Yes. Oh, that's way